Hey everybody, welcome back. We've been covering a lot of political history recently, so let's have some fun with some history memes. I got another collection here from our friend Drew Durnil, and this is called These Hilarious History Memes Actually Happened. All right, the link to this original collection is down below. Make sure to support Drew over there. Thumbs up if you like this, and let's get started. By the way, if you're in a history class right now, let me know down in the comments, what class are you in and what are you currently studying in your class? In my class, we are just finishing up ancient Rome, and in my AP World History class, we are just beginning the Gunpowder Empires.
The Warsaw Pact dissolved July 1st, 1991. The Comecon dissolved 28th of June, 1991. The Soviet Union dissolved 26th of December, 1991. The revolutions of 1989. And the end of most communist states, or the end of the Cold War. Victory! Screech! France, Spain, Turkey, Italy, the USA, Germany, the UK, they were so happy.
Except what?
What now? I don't think they thought this far ahead. Imagine being absolutely obsessive about destroying the other side, destroying your enemy for about 50 years, and then one day you wake up and they're gone. And you.
It's like, well, here's what you gotta do, right? You gotta find a new enemy. So what is the new enemy since the Cold War? Interesting there. When he was talking about, like, what do we do now? Do you know what that reminded me of? Do you ever see the South Park where they play World of Warcraft and there's that one guy that's like totally overpowered and just kills everybody? And they finally like grind up their levels to a point and they are able to kill him. And then they're like, wait, what do we do now? We play the game. All right, here we go.
What? Yeah, what are we gonna do now? This is
Find a new enemy.
All of NATO felt. I mean, you could say tensions were already really high between these two sides immediately after World War II, but to be honest, it was kind of even during World War II. Like, we were all feeling the vibes. So, yeah, one day the big bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, remember the whole thing is like the West never wanted to ally with the Soviet Union. They did it by necessity because of Germany, and that was it. There was Red Scares before the World War II, and that is just, it's just like the means to an end kind of thing. And you could see the distrust even as the war was ending with the final meetings that you had at Yalta and Potsdam.
During World War II, like, we were all feeling the vibes. But yeah, one day the big bad just kind of goes away. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was a slow breakup, but kind of.
That, and then they also decided to do a little operation in the desert. I mean, the first time they did it in the 90s. NATO, after the USSR was gone, is literally like completing the main quest in a video game and then just going back and doing side missions. Why did the US...
That's actually a really good analogy by Drew there. It's like, what do we do now? Okay, let's find side missions. What is that? Still engaging in different types of like economic imperialism, or at least some kind of political and military posturing to keep that position up high. And it's been a common thing that people have talked about. It was Russia's big grievance that after the Soviet Union ended, it was like, why does NATO still exist? What is the point other than to not have some kind of peaceful intentions going forward and some reconciliation, I guess?
USSR cooperate with Germany between 1918 to 1941? And why did the USSR occupy Poland with Germany in September 1939? Why did they invade Finland? I literally just mentioned this. Like, during World War II, like, while it was ongoing, a lot of the Allies were feeling...
Well, it's common. There's a common history there, right? You got the Soviet Union there, which, even though it's not the Russian Empire, still definitely had motives to, well, do a couple things. Once regain territory that the Russian Empire used to have until World War I, but also be able to do this without having to worry about another enemy.
I just mentioned this, like, during World War II, like, while it was ongoing, a lot of the Allies were feeling like the USSR was going to be a problem at some point. Obviously, everyone focuses on the German invasion of the Soviet Union, but remember, 2 years before that, they literally both occupied Poland equally. Important to note, though, the Soviet Union cooperating with the Germany before 1933, well, that was literally not even the same Germany. That was a completely different thing, obviously. This Japanese general Tojo...
People forget about that, about the regime changes that happened out in Germany from the, imperial government to then to the Weimar Republic, and then to the no-no German years of the 30s, and then the post-war Germany. And even that is different because you had multiple Germanys. All right, Hideki Tojo commits blank to escape the Allies.
Seppukuing himself to escape the Allies. But wait, the U.S.
How do you keep your honor?
Tojo so he can be charged against the crimes he committed. Nice try,
I didn't know that.
Samurai wannabe.
I didn't know that. the U.S. Army donated blood to Tojo? I actually did not know that. That's fascinating. I gotta look into that.
Justice! I'm reading that as Batman. Benito Mussolini be like, this town isn't big enough for 2 supervillains. Meanwhile, the mustache man, oh, you're a villain, all right, just not super. I mean, he does get quite overshadowed to the point where a lot of people don't even realize Mussolini was by far and away the first fascist leader. He started leading Italy 11 years before Adolf even came into power. In a weird way, Mussolini walked.
Well, they tried, right? Beer hall putsch. That was right after the 1920 black shirt takeover in Italy. They tried, it's just that they had failed. So there was an attempt at a fascist takeover in Germany.
So Hitler could run.
Had a great presentation.
Looked up the way Mussolini walked so Hitler could run. I mean, Hitler looked up. It's weird to say, but anyways. The British, when the U.S. revolts, I sleep. The British, when India revolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't like that too much. This meme got a lot of attention, but I mean, can we just say these were obviously really different events that took place like 200 years away from each other?
Well, I mean, okay, so, well, no. Well, not quite there, because you're going to get, I mean, the revolts in India you're going to have back in like the 1850s. So I guess in some ways, like, you know, less than a century. But India was way more important to the British Empire than the American colonies were.
U.S. revolts equals more tea instead of sharing.
Took it way more serious.
Iced tea drinking, tea dumping ignorant colonists. India revolting equals less tea to drink. Remember also in the 20th century for the British Empire, India was a lot more valuable to them than the colonies ever were. I mean, it was literally called the crown jewel.
Exactly. Drew's got it. Hey, I heard something that I forget what colony it's supposed to be. I think isn't one of the British colonies going to get its independence, and geographically that ends that whole thing about how the sun never sets on the British Empire. I forgot which one that was though.
13 colonies here, but not to that extent. It's just a different time period. The British and Dutch throughout history. You here too? Yes. And this conversation continued to play out in like all the continents. They just kept running into each other outside of Europe. People forget just how large the Dutch Empire got. Also, the meme is not exaggerating. It's not like the Dutch were here and the British were on the other side of the continent. They literally kept popping up side by side in all the same areas. We was just talking about India, and then of course we can't forget about South Africa down here. I mean, there's a reason why the New York City flag's got that Dutch orange.
New Amsterdam.
It's true though, a lot of the times it was just the UK taking that stuff from the Netherlands and then being depressed, but they
you wish it was called New Amsterdam instead of New York after the British take it?
Got some stuff. However, there are instances where it actually played out like this. The Dutch casually discovering New Zealand, doing nothing, then leaving. They literally did this with Australia.
British don't do that.
Literally founded all of Oceania and just being like, this place sucks, we're out of here. It was like, I've seen enough. Thank God. Imagine a Kiwi saying, we haven't a serious problem. I don't know how to pronounce that. I just am thinking of Jar Jar Binks in my head. Serbia. I am watching your every move. Okay. Literally Kaiser Wilhelm II in 1914. Also the Austro-Hungarian General Staff every day from June 10th, 1903. We're basically all making World War I references. In a way, they actually weren't doing that as much as they probably should have. I mean, if they were really watching Serbia's every move, they might have been able to save their boy, the Archduke, saving the world from exploding into a WW1 if only they had gone through.
Sure. I mean, that's just, you look into how much the Serbians were actually supporting the Bosnians in that, but probably could have done it without the Serbian help, although they did get some weapons and stuff. But remember, so much of that stuff that they used from Serbia in the assassination ended up failing.
Here back in the day. During World War I, filmmaking was at its infancy and combat was impossible to capture on film. Meanwhile, German combat reporters in 1918. That's technically World War I. Just imagine his film camera here is like a rifle, I guess? I don't know. Where did the love of filmmaking go? They don't have this passion anymore, that's for sure.
Dude, for real, like war photographers, have you ever really tried to understand and really like process when you look at a photo or video from war about how dangerous a position that was? And you see it, of course, today, but like immediately when photography was like starting, you saw that with say like the American Civil War, which is kind of like the first war that really you had decent amount of camera work, and people were like all up in it. But the Civil War was also weird too, because I've heard of that too, where war was so formalized back then that there apparently in some of these battles were like spectators. They'd like go up on the hill and like watch the battle happen. So weird.
Combat reporting will never be the same. Survived the
True.
Franco-Prussian War. Survived World War I. Survived World War II. Saw the rise and fall of 2 German Reichs, consistent of one thing: frick, France. You can actually have this guy become leader of Germany in Hoi 4. I think the monarchist path or something? No, just not a line. But he is playable, literally known as the last Tsar, born in a world before Germany even existed, and then oofed just long enough to see World War II Germany lose.
Yep,
Germany
exactly.
loses a war. France, every war. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. I mean, damn, can you blame him? In hindsight, this way of thinking makes a whole lot of sense. Holy crap.
Hey, I do an assignment every year with the reactions to the Treaty of Versailles. So you learn about the, what was going in, but then like the reactions of them. And we use the prime ministers, and Clemenceau you put in there. And it talked, just saying like how it was like way too easy on Germany, when of course so many people in retrospect are like, man, it was so hard on them. It actually crippled them to the point where you get the rise of the no Germans there. But it's all about what you experienced in those times, right?
Yeah, I would say that's actually fair. WW2 could have been avoided. Guys, you have to rush to Paris. No, the Krauts are on the run. You don't understand. If we don't establish the French government in Paris, he will arrive. Who? De Gaulle. I am free. I am heading to Spain. I can't say this word properly with like a good French accent. It bothers me. I don't even like to say it. Yes, he was worried about that. And imagine a communist French revolt from the inside, not even put by the USSR. It's 1819. I want equal rights. I despise you and hope you die. 100 years later, I'm finally independent. I despise you and hope you die. Crazy they kept up that passion for 100 years. The relations between Romania and Hungary, classic. Union soldiers watching the final boss of a war-obsessed Prussian nobility approach them at full gallop with a big-ass sword. Wait, what is going on? I can see how this could be terrifying, though. This Prussian man from Europe served 2 years as a Confederate soldier during the American Civil War.
So many people forget about that. People think about it a lot more with, say, the Revolutionary War in America. I had all this foreign involvement. But yeah, even in the Civil War, dude, it's just like, if wars are going to happen, all the weirdos across the world are going to show up.
Why? Apparently he was terrifying too. Just absolutely gigantic. He literally survived for another 30 years.
What?
Apparently he was terrifying too. Just absolutely
6'4",
gigantic.
250?
Literally survived for another 30
In
years
1860?
after the whole thing. This Spanish ship passing through the Tower Bridge in England. Wow, would you look at that? Victory at
That's
last.
actually,
Our
hold on.
plans are measured in centuries. We have other prospects. Finally,
That's actually really cool. But what if he got in there and then just like started opening fire, but with like old timey cannons and stuff? And he's like, it's like, this is for the Armada. Never forget.
finally, the Spanish got their dub, got their revenge on those old British. They've been holding this grudge for like literally centuries. Funny that person that said that was a Habsburg as well. Nobody expects the Spanish Armada. Yo, bro,
Yeah.
I got an idea. Proceeds to divide the world into just 2 sides. Literally your unemployed friend on a Tuesday afternoon for whatever reason. Was Spain and Portugal just that bored or what? It was quite the idea. Okay, guys, hear
Or to
me
see
out.
us.
Literally an actual manatee. These sailors have been at sea for months. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I've seen some pretty good look.
I just got it. So this is actually a manatee. These sailors have been at sea at months. some like gross pirate that's like, all right, guys, hear me out, all right? And then proceed to make gross statement, if you know what I mean.
I'm not even gonna finish that phrase. I don't know why they're looking all double cheeked up on a Tuesday like this. Those pirates are thirsty, I guess.
By the way, don't manatees have like
I
fingernails?
don't know why they're looking
Is that kind of what those are? Can you see that? Like sea cows.
all double cheeked up.
Aren't they
on a
like
Tuesday
actually really
like this.
kind?
Pirates are
And
thirsty, I guess. 1944, proud Moroccan today. You will fight the Germans. You know, tall, blonde, likes beer. I know what a German looks like. Cut to the first day of the battle in Provence. Alright, well, the Germans have changed quite a bit. It's been a minute since they've updated what they look like, I guess, in their mind. World War II is crazy because they were pulling all these different people from random different countries around the world to go battle in Europe or
Right.
battle wherever. The Germans thinking it would be easy to blitzkrieg the Netherlands. Meanwhile, the Dutch being casually responsible for the first
John
major
Daly.
disaster of the Luftwaffe. Hey, Dutch, a dub is a dub. That moment, it was like every little victory you could get, please just get it. I actually wasn't super aware of this battle currently. Literally, Adolf himself, Napoleon from France, and me all having in common, me specifically going out without my jacket, thinking it's not gonna be that cold. I guess humans have always been making this mistake. Doesn't matter how high your ranking is in a country. Dang, I mean, I make this mistake. Didn't know I had.
this is for the skinny boys that are watching this. Okay, us big boys, we don't get cold, so I can't relate.
Had something in common with those two. Oh boy, I can't wait to name my country after all its historical region. I despise you and hope you oof. Oh, Greece. Yeah, that's how it went for Macedonia.
Oh,
or
Macedonians.
Northern Macedonia. Yeah, it's quite the big deal.
Each say they're the real one.
So many moments like that happen in this region. Hollywood and medieval movies starter pack. Common folk who were always dirty and wore drab-colored clothing,
Right.
suits of armor that could be easily punctured. Commanders yelling fire to command archers to release their arrows. Heavy cavalry would
Which you wouldn't have said because there was no fire involved. Get it? Fire.
charge full speed into a line of spears. That's a great idea. Castle sieges took place in a matter of hours. Now, to be fair, these last two images are
Days.
from a fantasy
Days.
book.
Yeah, all of those things are. I guess that's that's the point of the meme. Sieges, yeah, they could take days. Again, one thing you might do in a siege is just sit outside and wait until they starve from the inside.
Lord of the Rings, but still, Hollywood does have a problem with medieval movies. So
It's also okay. That was also not supposed to be. It's Lord of the Rings, right? It's not supposed to be accurate. It's fantasy. Anything goes in Middle Earth.
they don't even make them anymore. They know they just can't do them justice. Also, flaming arrows that instantly light someone's entire body on fire.
That's true.
Always fun. The Roman Empire was the greatest empire ever. Then why is this meme in English? How dare you? But good point.
Oh,
They did win
snap.
the war for the alphabet, though, I will say. Also, remember Romance languages. They're all derived from Latin.
Latin,
They spoke
yeah.
in Rome. But yeah, empires rise and fall. Childhood is when you like the
yeah. I mean, someday, and again, Roman Empire's been gone. If you're talking about the West for 1,500 years, are the memes still going to be written in 1,500 years? I think we're still going to have memes of just, I don't know what they're going to look like in the year, like, what is it, 3,500 or something, but we're still going to have something like memes, but will they be in English?
goals. Adulthood is when you support Romans. For me, I think I personally always supported the Romans. I mean, the goals were cool. There's no problem with the goals. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I actually do know a lot of people that really love Goths. I don't know which Goths, though. The Virgin Viking will betray his
true.
jarl for a few pieces of silver. Impoverished peasant resorting to violence to survive. Worships fairies and trees. Disorganizes raids. Mostly attacks untrained peasants. Makeshift gear made from farming attire. Gets assimilated within 50 years of setting foot on foreign soil. Versus the Chad Varangian. I think that's how you say that. Varangian. There you go. Professional mercenary fighting for gold and glory. Personal bodyguard to the Roman emperor who paid once, then proceeds to be loyal for life. Orthodox Christian, highly disciplined advanced tactics. Fights the first line against fierce Muslims, also pagans and crusader armies. Brings back riches knowledge to his Scandinavian/Russian homeland to establish solid, lasting states. Yeah, sometimes I do see.
You guys like, I don't know if you even like consider, I guess you consider memes. Do you like the ones that have like a lot of information in them? Does at some point you get bored with it?
These two kind of like basically referred to as very similar. Lots of differences though. Just because they came from the same region doesn't mean nothing. She was a Western and Eastern Rome type girl. He was a Ottoman type boy, which actually is perfect because this is the leader of Italy and this is the current leader of Turkey, or basically where the Ottoman Empire was headquartered. And look, I think they love each other. There's so much lore about like leaders around the world having crushes on this woman. Maybe the leader from India likes her and the Serbian president.
Well, probably in reality, meeting her because she was just recently elected and they are NATO allies.
And how many is there? Will they be able to make this work though?
No.
That's the question. I mean, fun fact, that's part of the reason why the Ottoman Empire thought they were descendants of the...
That was like their greatest enemy in Europe. Was pretty much the Italians, one place they couldn't take over and were constantly fighting, right? All the way through. I mean, like the Italian city-states are basically what were keeping Constantinople alive.
Roman Empire in a way. That's some crazy fanfic, but it's out there. Rome around their peak at 117 AD. Oh, wait, what are you doing with that lemon? Get your tongue away from that. Oh, no, it's too late. In 1452, and they're about to get destroyed by the Ottomans. Look at that. So this is what happened.
Funny,
they just,
actually.
like made a sour face. Now, to be fair, that sour face took over 1,000 years to complete, so that's real slow. As always, big thanks to my patrons.
All right, final thoughts. I love how Drew has continually talked more about like the history behind it and really shows his historical knowledge. And again, how can you like cover so many things like he's done for so many years, you know, and not just keep learning and learning? It's like me as a teacher, you know, even before I was doing YouTube, it's like I've learned way more as a teacher than I ever did as a student. And now doing, you know, YouTube now into my 5th year, like it's amazing how much you learn, and it's fun to, you know, be able to discuss that and, you know, hope that people appreciate it. So I really appreciate what Drew's doing and really connecting kind of like the meme community and really getting to some history and bringing in the nuance of it. I think that's a really good job. So again, props to Drew there. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.